Hi everyone, so I'm just back with a quick video on my Series II 1959 88 Land Rover. Firstly because I haven't really done a lot to it, but I've now got a kind of definitive list of my first jobs, and I've been over the car in a lot more detail to assess what really needs doing. So I've got my hit list of first jobs. And also I'm conscious that there was not only a few things I missed in the first video, but also the video quality wasn't great, particularly the audio. So thanks for those who did watch it and like it, much appreciated. This is just a bit of hopefully a better quality video and a better walk around. So you can see I showed in a previous video I did where I was adjusting the idle speed that this has got a modified bonnet where the whole front wings lift up, which is quite unusual. I don't think I've seen it before on a Series Land Rover, but I won't go into that today. You can see it in my other video, which I'll link. So some quick and easy jobs at the front. These are non-standard wing mirrors obviously, so I'll replace these with more original ones. Headlight surrounds are fairly rusty. I'll replace those fairly easy. I've already got an original Series II grille. As you can see, this hasn't got one. I'm interested to know actually thoughts on, I think the paint's always different under the grille, but I want to try and get it looking as original as possible. So what colour I should paint that. The paintwork on here isn't the best. Several previous colours, or at least some undercoat and other colour coming through. You can see this was presumably marine blue at some point or something similar, and this is obviously not in great condition. And so on the paint, I think I'm decided that I will keep the roof and the roll cage as a limestone and go for marine blue for the body inside, etc. I'm not sure what it was as original. I haven't yet sent off for the historical records, which I will do soon. A previous owner, and thanks for your comments on here, owned this in the 1990s and said it was green, but I'm pretty much decided I'm going to go for marine blue here. To show you the bodywork, which perhaps didn't come out so well on the previous video, you can see this was used for trials and it's got some battle scars to show. You know, there's quite a few dents and imperfections on this. And in particular, you know, this is been kind of hacked around where the roll cage has been put in. Maybe not done the best, without being too rude about it. But you know, I knew this when I bought it. It's a characterful car, let's say. So you can see the tailgates not looking the best, but that's just a paint job. And then you can see inside, it's obviously got a galvanized tub here. It's also, you know, quite bent. I don't know if this comes out, but obviously pretty crude. I've never done any metal work, so I'm not quite sure what to do with this, if I'm honest. That's probably one of the last jobs to think about, to be fair. So this rear window is really not in a great state. You can see down here, it doesn't move. It's stuck slightly open, so this really needs ideally taking out and replacing, which I think will be a fairly tricky job. All the rubber's perished obviously. So obviously Land Rovers suffer from pretty rusty rear cross members. This has got, you can see this isn't too bad, kind of surface rust. I can tidy all this up, but you can see quite rusty here. So I'm going to have a tidy up and see how bad this is. I think if I treat this, remove all the really bad rust under here. Sorry, this doesn't come out very well. It'll probably be okay for another few years. This is obviously a replacement, I believe, non-standard exhaust, which I think makes it sound quite different as well. Interested in your thoughts on that, because I'm not sure exactly what these would look like. Obviously the parabolic leaf springs, sorry, which don't look in too bad condition. And while we're under here, so the diff does seem quite moist after use, but it doesn't seem to drip too much. I mentioned this weird diesel note on the fuel filler. So this is of the original 2.25 petrol and gearbox, I believe, so I'm not entirely sure why that's there. The fuel tank obviously has been moved inside here. Probably just remove this old filler pipe here at some point as well. No point having that. So then looking at these doors, this is the one I can't get off. I've taken a pane out, as you can see. The channels here are really totally rusted away, as you might expect. I was going to replace these. I've actually bought the new channels, but after thinking about it and advice from people on my YouTube video, and thanks for that, and also on forums, I've decided to just get new galvanized door tops, in part because I just cannot get this one off, and it's going to have to be, get the angle grinder to it and get this off. It's not terrible, but there's some rust here. They would be salvageable, I think, but I'm going to go for the galvanized tops. The door bottoms, another place, obviously they rust quite a lot. This is not too bad. It's mostly surface, so I'll treat this and I think they'll be fine. So it's already got the galvanized capping on the door tops. And just to show you, this door is actually in a bit better condition. The bottom. There's a little bit of rust coming here, so I was wondering if I would leave a lot of the inside, but I really need to tidy this up, treat the rust that's there, and then I'll paint again. I'm debating hand painting inside. We'll see. Obviously this bit's fairly messy, so this runner is pretty rusty, but I think I'm going to just take it off, treat it, repaint it, and use that. Keep that. And then, so this runner, which I must get this seat out soon, needs grinding off the welds. Then it doesn't have the part for the seat back to fit to here, which has been removed, which is quite annoying because I thought I could use the original runner, but obviously I won't be able to. So I'm going to have to wait till I can get a bit of help for that, because obviously I need to unbolt this runner. But to get at it, I need to take this panel off to get to the nuts the other side of the bolts and the runners. While we're underneath here, the chassis is, surprisingly good actually. I don't think there's any welds. For the age, it looks remarkably good. Show you the front part of the chassis here. So inside, not entirely sure what this part is called. Is quite rusty, particularly over this side, and really needs replacing. That's not an urgent job. None of the gauges work, so the speedo, the fuel, etc. do not work. So that is a definite on the to-do list job. And we've got some interesting carpet on the roof as well. So you can see here the original hole for the handbrake. So I'll see if I can find an original handbrake and try and connect that up. It's not an important job at the moment, so that's a nice to have, and probably not soon. I showed in my other video, which you can see, that I initially thought the gearbox wasn't great going into particularly second gear. So it's actually got worse since, and it's turned into kind of like I suppose clutch drag, and the clutch pedal isn't returning. So having thought it was the gearbox, I'm now fairly sure it's clutch system related. So thanks for all the comments on that as well. I'm kind of relieved in a way that it is the clutch and not the gearbox. It's an easier fix, obviously. I'm definitely not up to rebuilding a gearbox. Again, thanks for the comments. I'm going to start by bleeding the system, which I'll get onto in the next couple of weeks, and see if that rectifies it. If not, I'll replace the master and probably the slave cylinder as well. So that's obviously a top priority job. And the second job, I also noticed that now the brake pedal is not returning properly. I noticed it first actually because the rear brake lights were on when I got out of the car, and obviously my foot wasn't on the pedal. The pedals didn't seem to have any issue in returning, but now it's got a bit worse. So again, I think that's probably a bleed and possibly part replacement. So that's obviously top priority, those two, because that's about the basic mechanics and drivability of the car. Then the next job, get the old seat out. Whilst that's out and I get this other door top off, then I'll probably do a paint job. I'm going to try and spray it myself, possibly hand paint the inside as well. It won't be an amazing finish, but I think it'll be good enough for this car in this condition. I have sprayed a van that I converted to a very crude camper, and that was reasonable. I think the main thing there was the quality of paint wasn't very good, so I'm going to get down to the paint shop in the next couple of weeks and get some paint for this. So I'll pick up some, as I say, limestone for the roof, get them to match the existing marine blue, also get some black paint for various bits of chassis, etc. on other cars while I'm there. So that's the to-do list. It's clutch, brakes, chair out, door top off, paint. That's a good few weeks and months work for me, but I'll keep you posted.